back here on the ASTV Sports Show. Like I said and like I mentioned, joined by some wonderful guests, which we'll get to in a minute. Braden likes the Legionnaires, but I'm a big Elmwood Giants fan, not showing any favoritism or nothing. But they are in first place, showing 17-3 records so far in the MJBL. We have 3 teams, including your Legionnaires, Braden, at 12-10. That includes Altona, St. B, and St. James. And then rounding out the bottom 3 is Pembina Valley, Carillon, and in the Interlake Blue Jays with 5 wins. Elmwood did win both their games this weekend, 7-2 over St. B, and then 8-2 against the Interlake Blue Jays, whereas St. Boniface defeated St. James 4-3. And the Pembina Valley took on the Interlake Blue Jays yet again and beating them 5-1. So Interlake did not come away with a victory this week. However, better things are on the horizon for those Blue Jays. As for the border baseball, the Mound Pilots are sitting in number 1 spot with an 11-2 record. Morden 10-3, Winkler 8-5, Cartwright 5-4, and Baldur's got it finished out 6-6. As mentioned, we're going to switch from baseball to ball hockey, my second favorite sport. Joining me is Jeff Dzikowics,
Yeah, good enough. Yeah.
and Braden McKay. Now, Jeff, you're the technical director of ball hockey. Explain to me what that role does here in Manitoba and how you fulfill it.
Basically, more of the development of coaching, acquiring events, hosting events, just organizing leagues and the association in general.
So how does the association and the leagues work here in Manitoba? What does the season concur and start, finish, that kind of stuff?
Spring, summer.
Okay.
We have basically our main league runs out of Winnipeg, and then we have a winter league as well. But then we have the Manitoba Minor Ball Hockey League, which is about 8-9 years old now, that's developed about 1,000 participants. That's where our junior players are coming from.
Okay, so junior players are ages from?
The junior players are everywhere from U15 all the way up to U20, depending on what they're playing Canadian or they're playing for Manitoba, because they alternate years. So they go even number years for international stuff and then odd number years for national stuff.
So then the seniors is over the age of 20 or 21?
Yeah, seniors.
Okay.
Well, you could be anywhere over 18. But,
So
yeah.
let's talk, Braden. This team, the Canada West versus Canada East in the final. Why such a dominance in ball hockey in the worlds when it's supposed to be a global event?
Normally, it's a lot more even than it was. This was definitely a weaker year for the Slovaks and Czechs, as they normally have a lot more talented teams there. But the Slovaks, they gave us a good fight in the first game. We only beat them 3-2, and then the Czechs, we just kind of got lucky that we played them last game of the round robin when it was set already, that it was Canada East, Canada West, so I don't really think we got their best effort. But, if you watch the third place game between the Czechs and Slovaks, it was a very good ball hockey game.
Pretty heated event. So the 4 teams were the teams involved?
No, there was also a U15 Czech Republic team and Great Britain.
So we had 6 teams in total.
Yeah.
All the players from the Canada West team were from Manitoba, correct?
No, just 7 of the 22 players.
Oh, 7 of the 20. So
Seven
there's a
of the
larger roster, okay.
Yeah.
And there's 5, so it's typical same rules
Hockey.
as regular
Yeah.
hockey?
Yeah.
Except you're using one of those orange whipper balls?
Yep.
Although those things hurt.
They do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's like worse than getting a paintball.
Easily.
Well, maybe worse than a puck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because most guys can shoot that ball a lot harder than most people will shoot a puck. So.
How fast have you seen a ball go? Do you have like a speedometer you can roll on there?
I've seen it 125 miles an hour.
Wow.
Like actually recorded.
I just play defense just down in the middle of Winnipeg here once in a while, and when I let that ball go, it curves. Like it gets a good 8-10 feet movement on it, and goalies hate that from far distances, I'm sure.
No, there's a couple of guys just in our men's league who the goalies will specifically ask don't let them shoot from outside the blue line, because the balls start moving on them and it's almost impossible to save.
Absolutely. So what's the gear for a goalie? The same kind of gear for a goaltender?
Exact same.
Okay. What do they wear for footwear?
Just regular runners.
Regular runner shoes.
Regular runners, no
Including the
steel
goalies,
toes,
yeah.
no nothing?
No steel toes. Actually, they're illegal.
They're illegal?
Yeah.
So you can't keep protection on your feet when you play ball hockey. Wow. Okay, so 7 of the 22 boys, all 7 play or have been drafted to WHL teams.
Yes. Yeah,
Pretty impressive.
We actually had, I believe it was 12 of the 22 players are WHL draft picks.
Wow.
So we had a pretty talented team.
Okay, so
going out
Braden,
there with.
your role, I think, is a little more than equipment manager,
Yeah.
really. Like, what else do you do for
I
this
was
team?
helping out whatever way I could with scouting opposing teams and helping out on the penalty kills with Paul and Jeff when they needed it. And it was just kind of the balance between coach and being just one of the guys with the other players.
No doubt. So you did the scouting, you got the team ready on and off the ice. How impressive is that the fact that almost every award went to Canada West in that tournament. I mean, I looked over the list and I was like, all of Manitoba. I mean, like, the top player, the top scorer, the sportsmanship, the guy that had the uniform on the best. Everyone basically from Manitoba got an award plus the championship.
It was actually pretty funny because they, when they were giving out the awards, the reason they stopped going Canada West in the middle and went to a couple of the one of the Slovak kids was just because it was starting to seem like a Canada West themed award. So they like cut the awards in half, gave one to the Slovaks, and went back to Canada West.
Rightfully so, because the boys played so well. I mean, 30 goals for, only 10 against.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive over the entire. And they were undefeated, correct?
Yeah, undefeated.
So, I mean, it goes to show the proof is in the pudding. Manitoba is a pretty good hotbed when it comes to ball hockey.
Yes.
So let's move forward. What's next for ball hockey Manitoba? Are we looking forward to some events that might be local, perhaps, Jeff?
We're hoping to host junior nationals next year. We're pretty much, I'd say about 90% at this point going to host it. I don't want to jinx it. Something's got to happen before we get it. And we've actually put a bid in on the World Men's and Women's Championships, which is actually a significant size event. And we bid on Brandon, Manitoba getting it actually.
Right on.
So going back to some things about the development of it, Paul Cassis was the coach. He's a Manitoba guy, and he's actually a big part of why we have so many good players, his recruitment and his development of our whole system, our youth system, getting all the coaches and helping get the coaches and all that stuff, and has been huge, absolutely huge. Those Western Hockey League kids coming, big part of that is Paul.
For sure.
Yeah, I think there was 3 of the kids that Paul, from that 7 that we brought to ball hockey, Paul had known 2 of them before, just because he used to work at a skating, like a hockey skating place. Okay. And yeah, he knew them, kind of like tossed out feelers, and then next thing you know, those 2 kids came out, they enjoyed it, and then they just kind of started bringing their friends out. And I mean, it's a talent. I won't say it's normal for a province to have that many kids that are that talented going out there, but I mean, we just got lucky.
What's the cost for a player to be involved in ball hockey and travel to worlds like this in Europe? Is it pretty extravagant? Like, how do you fund
to play
this?
Locally, you're looking at it's actually really cheap locally.
Ball hockey is a lot cheaper compared to hockey.
It's about 200 to 250 for a season locally, but internationally, what the kids are paying probably about 2,000.
Yeah.
So the kids themselves have to fundraise and take care of that foot.
Well, MBHA gives a bit. Like, we put money towards anybody who makes an international team. So they get. We used to get a lot of funding cutbacks with sport, so it hasn't been great, but I think we pretty much go to about $500 a kid if we can. Okay. We try to budget, and that's not just kids. We do the adults too, if they make a Team Canada.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we've got Canada West, Canada East, junior program, national program, all hoping to happen here in Winnipeg next year.
So yeah, next year would be U15, U17, and U19 boys.
Okay.
And U19 girls.
Awesome.
National championship.
Right.
Which hopefully you see all those guys that were on Team Canada this year will all be on Team Manitoba next year. I guess next year they'd probably be playing in the some maybe U17, maybe U19.
Maybe U19.
Some of them U19, depending on their age, right?
Excellent. Well, I want to thank you two gentlemen for joining me very much, enlightening us on ball hockey. It's not just played on the streets anymore. No. It's played in the rinks. It's taken very seriously. And you know what? That's fantastic news. Well done for the team. Braden, Jeff, thanks for joining me. Up next,